Hello and welcome to my Season 16 guide on how to climb with Qiyana. If you guys don't know me, my name is Edo, I'm a Grandmaster level Qiyana one-trick, and I've been playing Qiyana for a very long time, to be exact for about 5 years now. I've coached several hundred Qiyana players in the range from Iron to Masters and helped them achieve their rank goal. And today we are here to walk you guys through the build, items, and also gameplay examples so you guys can crush your games on Qiyana. Let's get started right away with the items, okay? So Qiyana's items are very straightforward in a way, but you need to understand the underlying principle of AD Assassin itemization. So I'm gonna explain that first, the system, and that system can be used for future patches as well. So you guys can actually have a formula that you can use for itemization, generally speaking. There are two items that you always need as an AD Assassin, and those items are kind of first item and the fourth item here, which is Cyrilla Scratch. So your first item and your fourth item are always the same every single game. The reason why that's the case is because, first of all, you need to know your damage really well on Qiyana. So if you switch up the first item too much, it actually changes the amount of damage you deal, which leads to you not exactly knowing your limits in some situations. So you really want to be spamming one first item every single game and don't change it at all. Whenever I was climbing, when I got from 0 LP Masters to 1200 LP, Grandmaster, that's what helped me as well, because I didn't really have to think about what I would itemize. I could just fully focus on the gameplay. Now, with that out of the way, right, like we know we need the first item and we need Grudge. Why do we need Grudge? Let's talk about that for a second here. So the reason why we need Grudge is because armor increases a lot faster than MR during the game. So even if an ADC doesn't build any armor, the ADC will have enough armor for you to justify going Grudge as a fourth option every single game. So this item should be built literally 100% of the games. Like, you shouldn't skip this item ever after your first two major items. And the reason why that's the case is because the way lethality and armor pen are calculated. So the way it's calculated is that if a person has like 100 armor, right, and you have, I don't know, 30% armor pen, this means that you are reducing 30. You are using 30 armor with that 30%, right? So that would mean that the person now has 70 armor left, and if you now have, I don't know, like 50 lethality, that would reduce the rest of the armor to like 20. Right? So that's kind of how it works, and for ADC specifically, this usually puts them into a threshold where they just get obliterated by you. So now that we have the math out of the way, let's actually continue here. So there are two first item options that you have with Qiyana. I'm gonna explain both of them and what the differences are. So you have Profane and you have Cyclosword. Cyclosword is a little bit more expensive than Profane, and Profane is a little bit cheaper and has more wave clear. So Cyclosword gives you significantly more damage, but Profane gives you significantly better tempo. Now, this kind of is a playstyle type of question. I personally really love Profane, and the reason why I love it is because it's cheaper and you can get to Profane Lucidities basically like 250 gold quicker than you can get to Voltaic and Omniboots. But when you spike a little bit less hard compared to like Voltaic and Omniboots. So this is kind of the difference between itemizing this way. And also the way I have this aligned, guys, this is actually how you want to be itemizing, right? So the way you want to look at Qiyana itemization is that if you go Profane, you want to be going Lucidity second, not Omniboots, and you want to go Umbral plus Cyrilla Scratch. The reason is the following. So let me actually pull up the calculator here so it's a little bit easier to see and I don't have to draw the entire time. So Profane gives you 10 haste, Boots give you 20 haste, and Umbral gives you 15 haste. And Cyrilla Scratch gives you 15 haste as well. So that leads to you having 60 haste, and that is already enough for you to have basically 4 or 5 grass rotations where you are completely invisible. I personally really like playing around that, especially with Umbral. That's why Umbral with Lucidity Boots is really good as well, because you can grass, get out of the grass, use an auto attack with Umbral, and that will allow you to deal a lot of damage that way and basically be perma-invisible. I personally just like that type of playstyle. If we compare that to Voltaic, what you will see is that Voltaic has 10 haste, Profane has 10 haste, and that's it, right? And if you add that, you have like 35 haste. So 35 haste is literally 25 haste less than Voltaic. It does deal a little bit more damage, but if you can delay the fights or play them a bit slower, it doesn't really make a huge difference. And usually if you are ahead, you can one-shot people anyways with Qiyana. So what I'm getting at here, guys, is that depending on which build you prefer and which item you prefer, if you go Profane, I would highly recommend you to go this kind of route because it simply synergizes really well. And if you play Voltaic, I would highly recommend you to go Voltaic into Omni Boots into Profane and then build into Grudge as well. This is the default build for Qiyana if you go one of these two items, okay? Now, the way I want you to look at this is a bit better for beginners because having a lot of haste, it reduces your ult CD a lot. And also having a lot of haste and Profane allows you to just push waves easier. And wave clear is a skill in itself. So if you are a beginner with Qiyana, I would highly recommend you to play Profane, Lucidities, and this build. If you are a little bit more advanced and you just want to deal as much damage as possible, or you are in the GM plus range, where kill ranges are extremely important, I would actually look into building Voltaic, Omni Boots, and Profane a little bit more. Alright. Now, as you guys can see, we have these two items here as well. Let's talk about them for a second. So the second main item that you build is the situational item that you can build. Because the reality, guys, is that if you need serpents in a game, like if you see a game where you need serpents, you don't want to build it late. Same thing with Edge of Night. Like if you think, oh my god, Edge of Night is a fantastic item here, you really don't want to build it as a last option. Because it's simply too late and you don't get much value from it. So the earlier you build these items, the better it is. But we can't build it first, because that's pretty shit. And we also can't build it fourth, because we really need Grudge for the reasons that I mentioned earlier. So that means that the only like spot you have for a situational item is as a secondary, right? You could in theory also do something like Profane, Lucidities, Umbral, Edge of Night, Grudge, or something like that, right? But I personally don't like that, because I think you deal significantly less damage with it. If you are really fat, it doesn't really matter, but if you really want to optimize the build, this is what I would be doing. So, the build would look like this. You would go Profane into Lucidities, and then you would go Serpents, or you would go for Edge of Night, and then you can go for Grudge, and then you can continue the last items. I will talk about these in a moment here. Now for Voltaic, this would look like that. You would go Voltaic into Omni Boots, and then you would go Serpents, or you would go Edge of Night. The thing with this, though, is that I really dislike not having Profane at all, because you actually have really bad wave clear. But with Voltaic, it's kind of fine, because you deal so much damage that you can basically just auto-deck the minions down in a very fast way, and you don't really need to like use abilities on the wave. Especially for side lane, this is kind of relevant, because if you are on side lane and use abilities on the wave, you can get collapsed on. That's why I like this build more. But as mentioned, I'm biased here, so, you know, take it with a grain of salt. So, let's actually now say that you have your Profane, you have Lucidities, you have Umbral, and you have Death Dance. So the way I lined this up is that with this build right here, with the first one, you always want to go Death Dance, or you want to be going for more, because Endless Hunger is simply overkill. Like, you don't need 120 haste, right? It's just too much. And the defensive stats actually help you a lot with being inside the enemy team and being extremely obnoxious and hard to kill. Same reasoning here for the Maw. One thing you want to be careful of is that if you go Death Dance and they have damage over time, for example, they have a Brand, they have a Kartus, they have stuff that just ticks off, Death Dance is really, really bad, because the Death Dance passive gets reapplied over and over, and that is more harm than good for you. So in those cases, I actually prefer going for Maw and then going for GA last. So a build would look like this. You would have Profane, Lucidities, you would have Umbral, you would have Grudge, you would have Death Dance, and then you would go for GA. Right, that's a really standard build with Qiyana, and that's something that you can go for. Or it could look like this. Profane, Lucidities, Serpents, Grudge, Death Dance, GA. Or it could look like Profane, Lucidities, Edge of Night, Grudge, Death Dance, GA. Or instead of Death Dance, you can go more, right? Like, that's always the same thing every single game. You just want to alternate depending on what happens in the game. Now, let's actually take a look at Voltaic now. Here, things get a little bit more interesting. As I told you guys, you have extremely low haste, and that means your ult CD is extremely high. In order to tackle that a bit, the way you want to itemize is you play Voltaic into Omni Boots, into Profane, and now you actually have two options. Voltaic gives you % health damage, so you are not as reliant on the armor pen. So what you can actually do is you can go immediately into Endless Hunger, and then you can go Grudge, and then you can go GA, or you can go Death Dance. This is something you can do only with this build, because Endless Hunger makes up for the lack of ability haste, because you get like 30 ability haste on the spot with it, and then you are very close to having enough ability haste who also permagrass, right? So the way I would itemize on Voltaic usually is I would go Voltaic, Omniboots, Profane, I would go Grudge, Endless Hunger. As mentioned, you can also skip Grudge if you really want to, and if they don't have any armor. And then you can build into GA, or you can build one of these last situational items, right? And that's honestly the entire Qiyana itemization. So a build with Voltaic would look like this. Voltaic, Omniboots, Profane, Grudge, Endless Hunger, GA, or Voltaic, Omniboots, Serpents or Edge of Night if you need it, and then you go Grudge, Endless Hunger, GA, right? Those are the main Qiyana builds, and honestly, at the moment, you can play whatever you want to play in the end of the day, but this is the most efficient, the most, the build that will give you the most success, I can guarantee you that. I have several clients at the moment that do exactly that, and they have a lot of success with it. Exactly, so this is what I would itemize personally, and with that out of the way, let's now move on to the runes. So when it comes to runes, guys, you have two options. You have option number 1 with Electro, you have option number 2 with Conqueror. Now, I want to talk about a very big misconception in the Qiyana community, which is that you should choose the rune based on the game. So that is absolutely not the case, and I might get hate for this by some people, but picking one rune setup every single game is by far the best, especially if you get, especially if you play below Grandmaster. Above Grandmaster, it's a bit of a different story. Like, there are some games where Electrocute simply gives you 0 value, or like Conqueror gives you 0 value. But below GM, you just want to be better than your opponent and just fist them every single game. And in order to do that, you need to know your damage to the auto attack. Like, you really need to test limits. And it's really hard to test limits if you are changing your build and your runes and everything like every single game. So it's very, very, very important that you are consistent with the way you like itemize and with the way you choose your runes. And for that reason, I would highly recommend you to either spam Electrocute in 100% of your games or spam Conqueror in 100% of the games. And before someone asks, guys, I have won with Electrocute into Malphite already. This rune is playable into basically everything, okay? It is. You can win lane, and this rune is really good to win lane. Same thing with Conqueror. Just because you run Conqueror doesn't mean that you automatically lose into a mage like Syndra, where you want to go for short trades. You just have to adapt the way you play, right? You just need to play around the rune properly. That is the most important thing, and as long as you stick to that, it doesn't really matter which rune you go for. It's just important that you go for one rune that you are really comfortable with, right? Like, when I play Electrocute, I know exactly how to use this rune in every single matchup, so I wouldn't even want to play a different rune set. Ever. I would really just like to spam one rune that I would love playing, right? So for example, Beifeng goes for Electrocute every game. Yeikifeng plays Conqueror every single game. Like, you will not see Yeikifeng play Electrocute. Like, extremely, extremely rarely. Like, 0.1% of the games he goes Electrocute, and he goes like Conqueror basically every game. Now, I want to talk about iterations of these two rune sets, so it's a bit more understandable, like, how you want to be itemized, as how you want to be combining this. So if you go Electrocute, this is the page for a bit more advanced players. Last Stand is the best minor rune, or one of the best minor runes in the game, because you can decide when you deal damage on Qiyana, right? Like, you can let people get you to a low HP amount, and then you can use your full combo, and it deals insane amounts of damage. So that's why this rune is really good. But that also adds another layer of difficulty to the champion, because you actually need to get low health, and a lot of people actually panic. So what I recommend for a lot of the players that start out with Qiyana is to go cut down, because cut down makes trades a lot easier. And if you actually play cut down, that will make it super, super, super simple for you to just get a beneficial trade, get people into kill range, and then kill them. So these two are kind of like the most viable ones. Don't play around coup de grace, it's really bad. These are also really bad for Qiyana. Only play Presence of Mind and Last Stand or Cut Down. Now, when it comes to this page, you could in theory go Deep Ward, you can also go Grizzly. I personally like to go Sixth Sense because it allows you to walk into the enemy jungle level 1, place a ward, and you can actually see if they warded the bush that you are walking into. So you're not getting surprised by the opponents just like face checking you, and then you're just losing half of your HP bar. That's why I personally go for Sixth Sense, and also you can sit on your items and on. You don't really have to go sweeper as early if you have Sixth Sense, in my opinion. So that's also a very nice side effect. Now, when it comes to these runes right here. Now, when you run Electrocute, you kind of want to snowball the game a lot, so Treasure Hunter helps you a lot with that. If you run Voltaic, and this is kind of the thing, if you run Voltaic and you don't go Endless Hunger, I would highly recommend you to go for Ultimate Hunter. The reason for that is that you simply don't have enough haste to justify going that whole build. Because if you have Treasure Hunter and you don't buy haste, you will end up, like, let's actually say, let's really go into the, let's really get into the details here, right? Like, let's genuinely, like, calculate what I mean by that. So, let's say you have Voltaic with 10 haste, you have Profane with 10 haste, right? And then you would go for Grudge with, like, 15 haste. That would equal 35 haste. If you now get, like, Death Dance and you would get GA, that would lead to you having, like, 50 haste. Guys, this is not enough to reduce your ult CD enough to, like, play the mid to late game. Because it can happen that you have two sequences that are very close. And then you are very, like, it's really rough to get enough ult rotations off. So that's why if you go Voltaic, you either have to go Endless Hunger or you have to go Ultimate Hunter, okay? And if you also go Voltaic and Omni Boots, I recommend you to go Cut Down. So this is also a niche thing, because you are never below 50% health. Like, the value you get from Last Stand is so low with Omnivamp Boots that I actually don't really think it's worth it. Like, I would highly recommend you to just go Cut Down if you go Voltaic, and go Last Stand if you go Profane, and this kind of route. Those are like the intricacies of this rune set, alright? Now, the next thing I want to talk about is Conqueror. So Conqueror is really straightforward. You always want to be going for this or this. Same reasoning as before, right? If you go this build, you want to be going Treasure Hunter. If you go Voltaic, you want to be going Ultimate Hunter. Unless you go Endless Hunger, then you can also go Treasure Hunter with Voltaic, right? That's just the general mindset. And the nice thing is that you only really have to keep this in mind once. And that's basically about it, right? Like, the moment you spam one build, you kind of know when to go what. And then we're like, it will be a lot more easy. And you don't really have to think about stuff too much. Now, with Conqueror, there's a nice niche little detail. So you want to be going Alacrity because you auto-attack people a lot in the early game. And you also want to be going for Triumph sometimes. Like, it depends. You can either, and this is also something I would spam, so you either want to spam Triumph because it can actually give you the edge in skirmishes, or you want to be spamming Presence of Mind because Presence of Mind can give you a better lane and make it easier for you to sustain with your mana. I would never go Cut Down if I'm playing Conqueror, because you kind of want to get low health in the early game. This is kind of an early game rune that you can abuse really hard and bully people with it. So this is kind of my 2 cents when it comes to the runes and the items. Guys, there is literally nothing else. I can't think of anything else that's kind of important when it comes to runes and items. This is literally my entire knowledge and what everyone else does at the moment. And you might wonder, okay, Edo, why didn't you show Hubris? Guys, if you really want to play Hubris, you know, send it, go for it. But objectively, over the course of like 200 games, if you truly want to climb, and this is what my channel is about, I want you guys to succeed, I want you guys to climb, then I wouldn't recommend going Hubris because it's simply inconsistent. Unless you can stack it to like 30 or 40 stacks every single game, which is unrealistic if you play at your actual elo. And now with that out of the way, have fun with the educational games, and I'll see you guys in a moment. Mazara wants me to what own rep does. I can also what own rep does if she really wants to, I guess. She thinks that's better. Something I can do here. Okay, there's some vision there, I guess. It's okay. Okay, wave will be coming into me here. Even into Z, I don't really like Prio.
I cannot wait to be Empress.
Qiyana is kind of an anti-Prio champ, where you don't really want to be looking to contest Prio ever, right? So I'll just be letting this wave... I just want to let this wave to come into me, really. I want this Z to Q me, so I can dodge this Q with my W, and then try to farm whenever his Q is on CD, just like that. Missing minions with Qiyana early game is like completely normal, so I wouldn't really worry about that too much. Gonna dodge his Q again. And when he wants to go for this last hit, I can actually auto him. And outtrade him a little bit here, because his Q was on CD. He's gonna try to like Q me again. Good timing by him. My W was a little bit late. He gets level 2 now, so I gotta respect a bit. This is pretty standard Qiyana stuff. My Zara has a very fast clear. I can maybe look to hit a nice little Q on the Z here. Maybe start auto-attacking him down. And I'm pretty sure that I can just win this, because I'm Qiyana. I can Q him down here. My W is up in a moment. And the moment my W is up, he's just going to die. So I can just unempowered QWQ him, and I think I will be taking a reset here. Yeah, it's a little bit of a rough one, because the wave is like not in the best state ever, right? So Zed kinda screwed up there, because Qiyana level 2 is actually stronger than Zed level 2. So something I can do is I can like thin this wave a bit and now take a reset. So now when I come back it's not as bad as it usually would be. And I think this should be fine, as long as Zed doesn't interrupt my reset here. So I can get double longsword here. And I think I'll also get a potion. Yeah, exactly right. Game is looking pretty good so far. I mean, nobody's behind. Zara's full clearing, that's nice. So I'm actually considering to fight the Scuttle because I have a huge item advantage, right? I have 2 longswords compared to Zed having nothing. It's gonna dodge one of Zed's Qs there. With Zed, you need to understand that if he only hits like 1 Q, it's not that bad. I can EQ him now, poke him out a bit, pressure on the wave. The main important thing is to just stay full HP, right? Like, I just don't want to lose health, because the moment you lose health on Qiyana, you are in a very bad position when it comes to, like, playing skirmishes and river fights. Gonna ping that off. And now when Zed goes for farm, I actually just want to punish him with a QWQ. If my Ice Q hits there, he's half HP. Just gonna sit back. I can maybe actually look to kill this Warwick here. Yeah, so he flashes into me and dies. Good map awareness right there. Really just a very free kill. And Warwick doesn't have flash anymore, so that's pretty nice. I need to be a little bit careful, because Diana could be bot side ganking me. We just saw her bot, right? And yeah, the game is looking pretty good so far. So itemization wise, you can build Cyclosword first. You can also go Profane, like both items are very fine. Qiyana is actually in quite a good spot right now. So it's kind of personal preference. I really just like map movements. I think moving on a map is extremely important. At least I like to play that way. So I usually just prefer going for Profane. And I'm sitting on a lot of gold here, so I kinda just want to take a reset, get my pickaxe and a pink ward, so I can play into the proper side, and then, yeah, just go about it that way. Okay, Zed, like, messed up really badly here, because he just gets electrocute traded. He tried to interrupt my reset, and he pays for that. I can place some vision here. Nautilus is visible bot side, and I just saw Diana top. So I'm very free to trade here. Now, the easiest way to trade with Qiyana is to punish last hits. So for example, when Zed wants to go for a last hit, and I see an angle to outrate him, I can go for it, right? So here, for example, I know that he wants to Q. Also, I'm lagging. That's not ideal. So, and now he doesn't have W, and my Ignite is up, and I know he doesn't have Flash. So I can use this wave state to actually kill this guy. EQ Flash will just kill him. So the moment he walks up a bit too close, he's just going to die. This wave set is absolutely atrocious for him, right? So now he doesn't have W. I can grab Ice and punish him. So I'm just gonna let this wave come into me. And he will try to walk up for the cannon, I think. Probably. Or he's just taking a reset. Alright, I'm gonna E out to the cannon. And now since Zed wants to take a base, I'm just going to push this wave, I think. So I can take a base, because I'm really high on gold, right? And whenever you're high on gold, you really want to take a look into basing. QWQ insta reset. Don't go for this plating. If you go for this plating, Zed can interrupt your base forever, and then your tempo is really, really cooked. So on Qiyana specifically, I really like to go pickaxe Tiamat, not Brutalizer. I think Brutalizer is a really shit item. You normally get many stats. And I'm also getting a pink ward. And when it comes to using a pink ward, I like to pink ward the side that I can defend easier. And I think I'm just gonna pink ward bot side. Zed might be there. I'm not willing to drop the wave though. Yeah. This is fine. I think Zed just placed some vision here. I'm gonna auto this, Q this, WQ this. And now I can use that time that I just created to like ward this. Okay, I mean, this looks pretty chill, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't want to ult there. Also because Zed has red potion. I did get the pink ward though, so that's kinda nice. And I'm already a bit low on health. Zed can just WEQ me and I'm like half HP and then I can't play the game. So I'm just gonna wait for Zed to like shove this wave in. I'm gonna actually respect him. I'll wait until his red potion is gone. I don't have to ego it right here. We are already getting the Drake, so there's no real reason to walk up here. Just gonna chill out a bit. And ideally I want to play these grubs in a minute. So if I can get Profane for the grubs, that would be great. Just gonna queue the cannon here, grab grass. My Zara is currently bot side. And I'm pretty sure she will just full clear. I actually want to ward the Raptors just to see whether or not Diana is invading the Raptors here. And as you guys can see, I did get like poked out really hard. And now we can see that Diana is invading the Raptors. So my Zyra will lose those. Yeah, I can't really help that. I'm sorry. Not much I can do here. So I'll just reset. I'll get my Brutalizer and I will start moving into my lane again. Nice. Okay. I block here. Zed has to reset. Yeah, we can invade here. We see Nautilus. And I don't really think that Zed is nearby. I'm a bit off tempo here. I hope that my Zyra will not like keep invading further. Raptors are fine, but everything after that is a little bit too much. So I want to shove here. I think Zyra wants to make a bot lane play or invade. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna push this as fast as I can and then help my jungler invade enemy jungle here. I think Diana took our top side. But at the same time, we can also make a bot play. The reason why this play is good is because my wave is like pushed, right? So there's not much I'm losing here right now. And it's quite chill for us to just play this. I'm not gonna hit the Nautilus, otherwise I would be getting tower aggro. So I'm just gonna EQ. Play it really nice and slow. We don't have to dive Nautilus here. That's kinda too much. And now I'll just W over. And I think I can reset and go back mid. Resetting and walking back mid lane here is a bit faster and more efficient because I get HP back. So that's what I'm gonna do. I have my Profane, I'm getting boots. I can also get a sweeper. Nice, nice, nice. Walk back mid lane here. And as you guys can see, I have high kill participation and I also have very high CS. Like, you don't have to decide. You don't have to make a decision when it comes to like farming or having high kill participation if you just like shove the waves before you make a play. Zed could be moving top. Okay, never mind, he's mid lane. I didn't really see where he went there. You can go Omni Boots, you can also go Lucidities. I personally prefer Lucidities still. Unless you go Voltaic. I think if you go Voltaic plus Omni Boots, it synergizes really well. There is a play happening, but I'm not gonna move before I like shove this wave. I actually don't care what's happening now. Like, I will push out my wave first. I can just kill the Diana here. Get my W. You know, get one kill really nice and clean. Probably didn't even need to ult. I could have probably also just EQ'd her with Profane and auto attack and she would have died. You know, but better safe than sorry. So this is kinda alright. Gonna Q the Zed here when he goes for the last hit. Pretty nice. And now I'm sitting on a lot of gold. And I really dislike just staying on the map with a lot of gold. So I'm just gonna one-shot this and take an instant reset. I don't really have my ult anyway. So it doesn't really make sense for me to stay here. Just gonna get Lucidities. And now for the next item, you can build into several different things, right? So the second item spot for Qiyana is usually the spot where you build like situational items. So you have a couple of options. You can go Edge of Night, you can go Serpents, or you can go pure damage with like Umbral or Voltaic. So that's kind of what I like to do. Alright, I mean, I actually thought I had kill angle there, but yeah, he just drops back to his ult. That's okay. Zed is taking a reset right now. My ult is up in 45 seconds. So, and Drake is up in a minute. Plus my Zyra is currently trying to make a bot play. What I can do is I can shove this and maybe look to hover my Zyra a bit. Maybe even get a plating here. I can just shove this in, get a plate. Pretty nice. And then we can try to invade here with my jungle. So as you guys can see, like, syncing up pressure with your jungler is super important. I'm gonna stand here, because I don't want to have a long way back to my lane. And that's why I'm like walking back here, this way. So I'm just gonna walk back, and I want to be first on the wave. Dodge out on the Zed Qs, and now Zed doesn't have any pressure to like prevent me from shoving the wave. So I can just auto Q this. I can grab Ice, and we can probably just look for a play here, I think. I can just one-shot the Zed pretty quickly with an EQ Flash, RWQ Profane. Pretty nice. And the reason why that works is because we didn't drop any waves. We simply have a lead. And when Qiyana has a lead, the champion is, yeah, pretty oppressive, right? So we just one-shot the Zed there. Now we can Q Profane, auto this. My tempo to getting this plating is really bad. The reason for that is Zed is back in 5 seconds, right? So if I don't reset now, he will be first on this wave. And if he's first on that wave, we actually have problems, because then he can shove and make a play. I will go for Umbral this game. Umbral is usually my second item of choice when I go Profane. Like, this 3-item combination of Profane, Lucidities, and Umbral feels very clean to me. You can also go Voltaic, Omniboots, and Profane. That's also more than fine. You know, it's kind of personal preference. I just like the wave clear. Alright. I mean, I did lose some health, but honestly, like, actually doesn't matter. Just gonna grab Ice. Can maybe move in here. I don't have ult, but we have a numbers advantage. So me not having ult is pretty irrelevant, to be honest. I can just try to WQ to Diana here. Yeah, we get her flash. Can play this very nice and slow. It's gonna WQ to Diana. Play very nice and slow. Beautiful. Gonna grab grass and walk back mid lane here. If Zed is smart, he's just going to shove the wave. And he should have shoved the wave a bit earlier, actually, if I'm being honest. Because then I would have lost a lot more creeps here. Just gonna grab my rock.
Just like them.
Okay, Zed misses his entire kit. If you're wondering, by the way, this is a Master Elo game. This is not, I don't know, this is not Emerald or Bronze or anything. I am playing in Master lobbies when I do these educational videos. It's like low Master, I think like 200 LP or something. I'm just gonna Q Profane this, use my sweeper to check for vision and just reset here. Because I am sitting on quite a bunch of gold. Okay, I'm just gonna use a WQ here. Okay, just dodge out on the ZQs. Pretty nice. I thought I could maybe get the kill there on the Z. It's actually quite sad that I couldn't. Just gonna Q Profane this, and now we can move in to this area. I think Senna might be inting here, low-key. Where the hell did she go? Okay. Yeah, I think Senna is inting here. I can just W over here and EQ Profane, and we should be able to get that kill, I think. Okay, maybe we don't get the kill, but it's still alright. I mean, we get so much there. We get Barrier, Flash, Ult. So, that's pretty okay. And now we can get our Umbral. If it's a very kill-heavy game, you can also go Hubris, right? I'm just a fan of consistency. So I kind of prefer just going Profane into Umbral, because Umbral is really, really good. Both the active and the passive are just super efficient. So yeah, my Zyra is currently taking a base. Usually I'm really just trying to like predict what my jungler wants to do next, in a way. And at the moment it looks like Diana is like trying to invade, and there is a bit of movement going on here towards this side. So Zed might run into me. That's pretty decent. Okay, I mean Zed hits one Q, but as I mentioned, as long as you dodge one of Zed's Qs, it's really chill, right? And as you can see, my damage is just pretty absurd. Okay, now we can play for this Herald. With Herald, the most important thing is that you hit Herald at least once, since you get an empowered reset. And you don't want to leave that out, right? Like, you really want to get that empowered base. Now, I'm gonna ping away my Smolder, because what you will see a lot is that when you make a play on one side, the enemy team will actually make a play on the other side of the map. So Smolder is in dive range here, right? Since enemy Diana and Nautilus decided to ditch the Herald. So if I don't ping Smolder and Smolder dies, it's kind of my fault. This looks like there's a... Oh my god. Alright, that's my bad. Okay, so what happened there is that I wanted to R-flash, but I fat-fingered my flash. So my R-flash didn't go through and my Zyra died. It's not the best play ever anyways, but yeah, that was a pretty big misplay. That's alright though. What's next? So Drake is up in like 50 seconds. So ideally I want to ping that dragon and I want to play it. I think Diana might be dead, or she has to flash here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I like it. Beautiful. So I really want to play this dragon. I want my Gnar to go top. Because if I have to go top lane, I can't really play for the... I guess it's alright. I can go top lane and push out the wave and then maybe move towards the Drake, like, vertically. Should be okay. Gonna grab Rock here. We can maybe look for a pick here, my Zyra and me. Never mind, it's okay. That guy is, like, really squishy. But I don't really want to force anything right now. My main goal is to like just play the dragon, you know? So let me sweep this, let me grab my grass. Okay, he takes the base, so my team needs to be really, really careful right now. Reason being is that Warwick could, in theory, just run there. So I really don't want that to happen. So I really have to move mid to the Drake here. If I don't move to the Drake, we are going to run into a numbers disadvantage. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna help my smaller shove the wave. And now we can move in here, and that will lead to us having guaranteed numbers for this play, right? So I don't know, I can Q this Drake. Yeah, I'm just gonna reset here and defend the Warwick again. It's quite important that I'm there, and now I can actually get a sweeper as well, so I can side lane a bit more in safety, right? Grab Rock, walk back to my lane here. I don't know why he's doing that. I think Warwick is just going to die here. I mean, that's a lot of healing. Okay. So he doesn't get one shot, and then when I'm CC, Diana suddenly pops up. That's honestly a bit unfortunate. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, okay. I mean, you know, I probably just have to respect the fact that my Nara is bot side, that my team is getting a lot mid, because I am weak-sided, and whenever you are weak-sided, you kind of have to respect. So yeah, I should have just stayed back there. And yeah, maybe poke out the Warwick, but that's it. Enemy team did a good job there trading. Diana playing into her only strong member, which is the Warwick. I respect that. It's actually quite a smart play to trade. It's not game losing, but it's pretty bad from my side. I just need to know that and respect it. So yeah, usually if you just like play safe and your team is winning stuff on the map, it's completely game winning because the enemy team tries to like trade, and if they can't trade, it's really good for you usually. Okay. So I really don't think they are camping here. I can just use this plant. Okay. Q Profane, Q this. Alright, and now if I use a pink here and keep shoving, it's actually pretty safe. Yeah, the reason why I can now side lane a bit more aggressively is because my Zyra is top and my Janna is also close. So I can just grab grass and perma shove. I'm gonna ping them to help me out here. And you can already see, like, because I ping and I'm asking for help here, my team is actually ready to play. So I can just grab grass, auto-attack this down. Gonna grab stealth again. And we can maybe look to invade here. Look to make a couple of plays, maybe get some camps, and just be really, really annoying. Just gonna auto-attack this down. Respect the Z. W over. Maybe look to make a pick here somehow. If we can't, that's also fine. Baron is also up soon. We can definitely play this, I think. I mean, I don't really feel comfortable playing the Drake. But I think at the same time, it's like, it's okay, you know, like it's not that risky, because we have a Zyra and she basically like one-shots the dragon. Just gonna W over here. Maybe try to move mid lane here first before the Z. And when he tries to move, I can kill him. Nice. And now we have a numbers advantage already. Like, this is a 4v3 for my team. So I don't really think I ever have to move here. I can just hit this tower and get rich, essentially. Like, this is just a get rich quick scheme, kind of. Like, just get platings, you know? Ignore the mid fight. Get a lot of gold. I can basically get the entire tower, which is like 5 platings. And if you get all 5, you get like, what is it, like 600 gold, I think? So, yeah, that's pretty OP. Just auto-take this down. Nice. I need to reset here. I can maybe move to the Baron a bit later. Pretty good. Let me grab Grudge. And honestly, on Qiyana specifically, I love having Death Stance. I think Death Stance is a really broken item for Qiyana. Quite simply, because you can, like, play very aggressively in fights. That's why I usually just like going Death Stance. It's a pretty good item. Okay. My team will reset. I will just try to push out mid-wave. Okay. Nice movements. Dodging out everything. I am pretty low on health here. I should probably just take a reset. It's okay. You just make sure you don't die in a moment like that. Like, if I die then, we lose the Drake of it, the game can actually explode. And that's kind of the thing that you want to avoid the most. So now, Dragon is up, right? And I want to contest Nash. So the question usually I get is like, how do I contest objectives, right? Like, how do I technically do that? And honestly, the easiest way is to just like, go into a bush, stay in Fog of War, and make sure that nobody sees you. So I'll just stay here, and I'm just gonna wait for action to happen. As Qiyana, generally speaking, you want people to come into you. Like, I don't want to force stuff. So I'm just gonna stand here, and you can use the Umbral indicator here to see whether or not you are on vision. So I'm just gonna one-shot Diana here with my team. Grab grass. Q Diana. Now she dies. And now we have a numbers advantage. And basically the odds of us losing a fight here are just 0, right? Because I already killed Diana, we get the kill for free, and then we can just play the Drake. So we are so far ahead that I can just go top lane, seriously. Like, playing top is just very easy, and the enemy team FFs. GG. Nice. Okay. So that's kind of how you want to be approaching these games. Like, just really good farm, playing around your jungler, trying to be there for objectives, not dropping any waves mid, and yeah. Then you are going to win a lot of games. Pretty good, honestly. Pretty good. Let's go mid lane here. I'm gonna try to place a Raptor ward. Actually, guys, you know what the thing is, right? Against Akshan specifically, it's extremely dangerous to place a Raptor ward. Since he can just E onto you, and you are like 0 HP after that, essentially. So I'm just gonna ward on Raptors. So we have that. That's pretty good. Now my Lilia knows that she's being tracked. Yeah, like walking into this Raptor pit when they have an Akshan that can just E onto me with barrier is extremely dangerous. And my champ is pretty weak level 1. So into Akshan specifically, you need to respect his E range. So he can E onto this wall and just completely screw you over. For that whole purpose, like, just because of that, I'm really just trying to chill out. Not lose any HP. I can't even Q these minions, I think. It's just... Yeah, actually it's fine, because I was sitting on the right here. If he would have pressured me a bit more, I would have chilled and I would not have gone for that. I would have actually just maintained my HP. So getting hit by one auto is fine, because my minions just start hitting the Akshan there. I already lost way too much HP here. It's not ideal, but it's okay. Like, he kind of forced me to take damage there, because he knows that I have to walk up for the minion XP. Kind of smart by him. But the moment I get level 3, I should be able to just, like, bounce back. So this is just how Qiyana works. You really just gotta maintain health. Sit back. Not do too much. Just gonna grab grass here. Wait for the wave to come in a bit more. When my W is up, I can start looking for trades. Like this, maybe? Or I can try to WQ the Akshan, get his bone plating. Yeah, pretty nice. He's playing extremely aggressive, by the way. Like, this is not how Akshan players usually play. So I can just E onto him, E, auto Q, and now dip out. And if I do this, you can see that he actually has no counterplay. Like, he literally has to take a base now. And I can just grab ice and run him down. So I can hold this wave here. And it will be borderline impossible for him to walk up. Now, when my electrocute is up, I can start just running him down here. In a moment, like right now. Ideally, I want to bait his Q. She's not using. That's kind of smart, actually. Okay, this guy's not playing that badly. Okay, so we get that kill, that's pretty good. Just EQ him and then W auto attack him down. They have a Talia. It's not that dangerous. Akshan is already mentally broken, that's pretty good. Okay, let's Q this. W auto Q. Okay, so Akshan types, lovely trading patterns your champ has, a lot of counterplay included. Wait, let me quickly send that message. Alright, bro, you are a psychopath for trying that. Maybe I can just take a base, finally. Very interesting that Talia tries to kill me there. That's okay, though. I'm just gonna get a pickaxe, and I'm gonna get that. do this. Okay, now we can come back to the lane here. Boring noob champ. Ah, yeah, alright. Okay, so my Lilia is like lost the scuttle here. I'm just gonna EQ the Akshan, get his bone plating. Grab grass here. I don't really have E right now, but I'm just gonna walk up already. And he's definitely gonna die here, by the way. I'm just gonna auto-attack him down. One more auto-attack, and now I can EQ him and he's gonna die. Gonna grab ice. Pretty beautiful. And now I can just take a reset. The reason why I want to base... I can also push this wave out, honestly. Just gonna auto-attack this down. Pretty nice. Wait for this minion to drop low. And then I want to QWQ this and now take a reset. So I can get a longsword and a refill. Yo, Namua, I appreciate the 3 months, brother. Yo, Yoiko with the prime. Guys, what is going on? Come on. You're the goats. Look skillful what you are doing, keep coping. He's OP, don't worry. Yeah. Alright. Okay, let me auto-attack this down. Akshan places a ward, and he does have a roam window here, so I really gotta ping that Akshan is there. If Akshan gets 2 kills now, I'm going to actually crash out. Let me auto-attack this down. Guys, I kinda pinged that Akshan is there. Like, I can't really ping it more often. It's kind of okay though, I mean, he just dies, he's mad now. So, this is actually pretty good. So, the thing, guys, right? The thing with Qiyana, and generally speaking with a lot of mid lane champions, is that you punish roams the best by just staying mid lane. So that roam that Akshan went for is incredibly bad, because he's just flipping the game. The reality is, though, that I'm hard stomping him, so if he stays, he's just going to, like, lose so much. So essentially what we have is he has, like, a lose-lose situation. If he stays in lane, he's getting fisted. If he roams, he just loses a lot of resources, right? So it's, like, basically lose-lose situation for him. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome, welcome. Alright, if Akshan walks into me here, I can actually try to EQ him. WQ him, pretty nice. Sit back. Now I can grab ice again. And the moment my W is up, I can try to kill this guy. That is actually not even a kill. Oh, my bad. I mean, he has cloth armor, so it kind of makes sense. He wants to shove the wave. I'm gonna give him the shove, actually. Because I don't want to eat the damage. That's alright. I'm just gonna hold 1 minion here. The reason why I want to hold this 1 creep is because the next wave will stack a little bit closer to my side. And that allows me to push this wave in safety. I don't have to walk up as far. So I can auto this, Q this, and I'll take a reset. Pretty beautiful stuff. Okay. How did you know you could kill him the second time? Well, it's actually quite simple. I just have over 10,000 hours on this champion. I tried this 10 times, I failed it 7 times, and now I know that it works. That's why. So you just have to, like, limit test a lot. Hizokashi. Yo, Edu, I got a question. Which is the best secondary AP main if Qiyana is my main? I thought maybe Sylas. You don't really need a secondary champion if you play Qiyana. I would actually recommend you to one-trick until Grandmaster. And if you are GM or above, that's when you can start looking into getting a secondary champ, right? Because that's when the champion will get banned. So there's a fight happening, but I have a mid lane wave. And we are not dropping any waves in here, guys. So I'm gonna push this out. And if Akshan gets kills, that's fine. He can get kills. I don't really give a shit. Because experience and gold from waves is significantly more important than getting kills rarely, right? That's just how it goes. So if my team lives, that's absolutely fantastic. If they don't live, I get a plating and I make Akshan lose a full cannon wave. So it's basically completely cooked for them either way. So I can push another wave here. Akshan is just dropping the entire game, by the way. Like, it's completely impossible for him to play after this. It's really, really, really bad. The only thing he's achieving is he's making my team go mental. Like, a little bit, you know. That's kind of about it. What if my team needs AP? I mean, your team never really needs AP. So in this case, when Akshan walks into me with like 70% health, I can just ER QWQ out to him, which basically leads to a free kill. And now I have my Voltaic, right? So I will be looking to yeah, just take a reset here, since I'm really, really high on gold. And I really don't want to do this. I'm sitting on 1.2k gold. Please, just don't. I know it would be good in theory to do this, and I would love to help my jungler, but I just can't. It's just too bad for my tempo, and you really need to respect your own tempo and your own resets. What if my team needs AP? Your team doesn't need AP if you are 3-0 with 8 CS per minute and you can just 100-0 someone without ult. AP isn't needed, mate. Just get fed enough. You know? But it's hard to get fed enough if, you know, you don't have mastery on the champion. So the mastery you have on the champ is significantly more important. It's significantly more important than having the perfect pick. Karma could be around here. I need to be a little bit careful. But actually, I think Akshan is just trolling. Yeah, I think he's a little bit mad. I mean, I have Cyclo Sword. I can probably just kill this tower, really. I also have 3 grubs. So this is pretty chill. My jungler wants to play the Drake here. What I can do is I can shove this next wave in, which means that Akshan has to respond. And then I can maybe look to play bot lane. I can also check out if top is diveable, because the bot lane play has been lost already. Right? Like, my bot lane already died. Top lane doesn't really look diveable. Honestly, I'm just gonna reset. I'm gonna use the death of my Draven. Just gonna W over here. I think that's fine. Yeah, my E-Flash didn't hit, sadly. Bit unfortunate. If my E-Flash hits, he dies. It's alright. I'm just gonna base and go mid lane here. Yeah, that was a pretty big misplay. Just gonna get Omni Boots. And as mentioned, guys, I kinda want Serpents this game, right? Because they have Karma, and Karma forces you to go Serpents. So, the best possible play here, like the most perfect play would have been for me to reset and go bot. And then my Draven would have automatically ran mid lane, right? Because that's the only lane he can walk towards. And then we have perfect lane assignments already. Now it's a bit cooked, and I wasted my Flash R. So that is pretty suboptimal. That's a really big mistake. Is Qiyana jungle viable? Yes, she is. Even though she's currently one of the weaker AD assassins, because she got nerfed quite a lot for the jungle. Okay, so I can look to dive this Jinx here. The reason why we can dive is because we see everyone on the enemy team top. So this is kind of like, this is just the freest play of my life. Nice. And Draven is not amused. Yeah, my bad actually. I'm gonna just type my bad. So he doesn't feel as bad. You know, you just want to keep that mental. I don't really think it's bad that I got the kill, but I'm just gonna brainwash him into thinking that I'm sorry. So he can keep his mental. Now I'm gonna W out and move top lane. Alright. The reason why I want to go top is because Akshan is shoving. Gotta get a Dirk. Izukashi, vielen lieben Dank dir, mein Lieber. Sehr nette Worte von dir. Alright, so this guy is just going to get obliterated here. Just gonna auto-attack him down. Pretty nice. Give him a quick BM, because I can. I don't need tempo. All I need is to assert dominance and show him who's the boss. Pretty nice. Now we can just one-shot the next couple of waves. And then we can probably move towards mid lane here. Freut mich sehr, dass dir meine Videos helfen, Isogashi. Keep it up, bro. Alright, so I think Talia is like running into me here. So I can try to collect this guy quickly. Okay, I don't think I can collect this guy. It's gonna dip out. Just gonna QWQ the Nasus here. Yeah, we can probably dive this guy, I'm not gonna lie. I just want to one-shot this wave. Grab ice. I mean, my Lilia is already having fun here. Without me, though. Okay, I'm probably going to get Nasus ulted here. Do we get the kill? Do, that's nice. I'm just gonna Q this and I'll take a reset. Pretty beautiful, honestly. Let's place Vision here. Just gonna WEQ auto attack the Akshan. Dodge out on the Talia Q by sidestepping, and now I want to grab W. And I think I need to be going mid lane here. Enemy team is probably going to FF in a moment. Because we did the mental warfare towards the Akshan. Honestly, when he complained about the champ, I should have said, I'm first time sorry. To completely break it, you know? To like, basically end the mental fight on the spot. But I didn't see that angle, so my bad on that one. Okay, let me Q this. I mean, Jinx gets a kill. That's surely not ideal. Gonna Q this out. I think I want to go bot here because there's a wave that will be there for me to attend.
I will not stop them.
Alright, I want my Draven to go mid lane here.
Smash these idiots.
Sweep this area, just one-shot this wave. I get the cannon, I think I can. Okay, I can't. I can pink ward this. I don't quite understand why there's no Phalite here. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Okay, nobody's responding to the mid lane wave, so I kinda have to go mid here. I think it's a really huge mistake that my Draven and my bot are like doing that. If it works, I guess, but it's just so risky. Like, all we have to do is play objectives in order to win this game. So we are kinda over-forcing stuff with that. Akshan is already dead here. There's no reason for me to move. Just auto-take this down. One-shot the wave. W over. W over there. I just want to wait until this guy walks into me and then I can Q out to him. Like WR Q out to him. Pretty nice. W over. And now we can reset for the Drake here. Alright. Pretty good. On Qiyana, you really need Grudge as a third item. So I'm just gonna itemize that real quick. Walk into the mid lane here and now play for this Drake. By the way, how many mastery points do you got on Qiyana? Honestly, hard to tell. Probably like 4 or 5 mil, I think. Like, if you combine all of the accounts. But it's just an estimate. Yeah. I mean, on my main account, I kinda have... I think like 3 million or something? I don't know. Hey, what's up, Nova Sagitari? Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so the Drake is up here. Just gonna get this wave down. One-shot it real quick, make someone respond here, and then we can probably play for this Drake, or we can even try to end, I think.
I'm not arrogant. I'm right.
This. Grab my W here. Okay. I'm honestly just gonna get this tower. I kind of don't care about what's happening there. Getting the tower is like the most important thing here. When you are sieging with Qiyana, you just want to take stuff really, really slowly. Like, I'm not really looking to force anything crazy right here. I really don't want this guy to get kills, but I'm probably just going to give him a lot of gold here and shutdowns, which is obviously suboptimal. Okay, let's just get Grudge. I really should have played this slower and we should have just done the Drake, I think. Most likely. Yeah, this is not ideal. I really don't like how we played this. My Draven is kind of a menace though. So it makes sense that we tried to like end and play it a bit more aggressively, but at the same time it's just extremely dangerous to do that. Close. Yeah, very close. Okay, I mean just play the Drake here. Yeah, I think we should just play the objective, seriously. Edo, several years ago, you found me in solo queue on my Kassadin and shit on me and made a video about... I actually remember that. I think that was when when Prowlers was still active, right? I could probably still find that video if I would really try to. I have it somewhere in the depths of my Google Drive. That's kind of funny.
I name this the River
I'll probably move in here. Try to get a kill in case Talia flashes over the wall. Never mind. Yeah, you know, over the years you accumulate a couple of victims. It's just how it goes. But honestly, you were a really cool victim. Like, you took it with a smile, so I like that. Alright, I think we just want to play the Drake here.
This is beneath me.
Wow, I actually can't kill him. That's a really manly build. Arby's and shield bow. How much shield did I reduce there? 1.1k. That's kind of crazy. I just want to play the Baron here, seriously. I'm just gonna hover my Draven on this wave. Also, the top lane wave kind of needs to be attended, but I don't know. I really don't want my Draven to go insane. Never mind. Draven is going insane. Let me grab Ice here. Move top, and I think we can play this Nash on spawn, and then we can end the game. Gonna get this wave, grab grass, pretty good. My team doesn't really need me, and I don't have ult. Your job as a mid laner is not to hit the tower. Sorry, to hit the objective. Like, your job as a mid laner is usually to just push waves. And here I'm not really needed anyway. Like, the enemy team is not really contesting the Baron, so I'm just gonna shove out more waves. Take it really nice and easy. Q this. Why did you not go profane? Because I wanted to have a bit more one-shot spread against Akshan. Okay. I want to play around my Draven here. Lilia can push out top. Okay. Lia is doing crazy things. Alright. Now, I don't want to hit anything because I need my voltaic damage, right? I have this energized attack and I really want to use it on enemy champions. Alright, we just two-shot the Jinx casually here as Draven. That's very interesting. What I can try to do is I can actually try to just ult people onto this Nexus, right? Like, that's kind of the best area you have when it comes to, like, killing people. And I'm not gonna hit the tower at all. I'm just gonna take it very nice and slow. Until I see an angle here where I can, like, do this. And then we just win the game off that. Absolutely beautiful. So I'm just gonna E on this, start hitting the Nexus here. And that's the GG well played. And now we can dip out. Pretty beautiful. Alright, nice games.